Welcome to part number 6 of the Link to the Past playthrough. I'm not gonna lie, not too much happens in this part. I go to a few places and then I head to the Palace of Darkness, and I don't make it to the boss of the Palace of Darkness in this video. That's next video, so there's really not that much that happens in this video. So I've decided that I need to prepare a topic, and I thought of a pretty interesting one. It's one that not many people talk about. So today I'm going to talk about instruction manuals. And you may be thinking, UAA, nobody reads those instruction manuals. And you're partially right. I don't read them anymore because nowadays they've become awful. But back in the day, instruction manuals were awesome. Like, I was looking through my Super Nintendo games, and I found a whole pile of instruction manuals for my Super Nintendo games. So I have the Link to the Past instruction manual right in front of me right now, and it's really cool. It's like, how many pages? It's 46 pages long. There's so much color in it. There's pictures. It tells you pretty much everything about the game. And instruction manuals nowadays, they don't tell you any of this stuff. They're not even fun to read. This is fun to read. It's interesting. It tells you stuff that you don't learn about in the game. It has some backstory that the game doesn't tell you. It has descriptions of all the items and stuff like that. It tells you everything. It's so cool. And it has all these hand-drawn pictures, or not hand-drawn, but they look authentic. I don't know the word for it, but they look so cool. And there's pictures and descriptions for every single item in the game. It even tells you about all the items in the game, which I don't really like that, but I think it's still cool. So I'm going to read the descriptions of the items, of all the items I get from now on, just because I think it's cool. It even has, it has everything. It's so cool. I wish instruction manuals nowadays were like this. It's so colorful, and it's actually fun to read. So, to give you a comparison, I have 3 games right here of the 3, I think it's the top 3 publishers in the world right now. I believe it's the top 3. So we're going to compare instruction manuals of their games. And keep in mind, these are billion-dollar companies. They've made loads of money, so you would think that they would be printing elaborate, colorful, beautiful instruction manuals. But that's not the case. So to start off, we're going to start with Nintendo, and I picked Super Mario Galaxy simply because it was the closest Nintendo game nearby. So let's check out this instruction manual. I've actually already looked at it before this video, but whatever. This one's pretty good. It's really colorful. It has some things that the game doesn't tell you in it, but it's a pretty basic instruction manual. It tells you the controls and all that. It's pretty good. It's not anything like the Link to the Past one, but it's alright. It's got a bunch of, it's colorful, it has picture of gameplay, and tells you all the things on the screen, what they mean. It's cool. I like it. And if you have any old games, and the instruction manuals, read them. You'll be surprised on how interesting they are. Most of them anyway. I have a few Super Nintendo games where the instruction manuals were just okay, but a lot of them, they were fantastic. If you have any old games, read the instruction manuals. They started getting not good once we hit GameCube age. That's when instruction manuals started to become not worth reading anymore. Nintendo 64 ones they're alright. And PlayStation 1 instruction manuals, I think they're pretty good. I would have to go check, but from what I remember, those are okay. So, Super Mario Galaxy, it passes. It's like 26 pages. Well, it's actually around 70, but around 40 of those pages are 2 different languages, French and Spanish, I believe. That's weird. Why has Nintendo started publishing all of their games with French and Spanish on the case and in the instruction manual? Like, if you look at the back of the case, there's English, French, and Spanish. I don't quite get it. But I don't know. I guess it saves money, and it doesn't really bother me seeing how English comes first. so I don't have to go halfway through the instruction manual to see it, but yeah. Next up we have Electronic Arts, yes, EA, and I have Need for Speed Carbon in front of me. It's a terrible game, never play it. I hate this game so much. It is nothing like Need for Speed Underground, a game which I love oh so much. Well, let's check out the instruction manual. Yeah, this is interesting. So just take a guess. In your mind right now, guess how many pages this is. Take a guess. Well, if you guessed 9, you are correct. It's terrible. It's horrible. There's 2 gameplay pictures in the entire instruction manual. And even better, it's all in black and white. There's no color. What's up with that? The cover of the instruction manual is in color. Why can't all the pages be? Like, this is why I don't read instruction manuals anymore. They're not interesting. Like, this is black and white. It doesn't tell me anything that I wouldn't learn in the game. What's it tells me? It tells me the controls. I don't need to know the controls. And it'll also only shows 1 control setting, and I think there's 5 in the game, so what's the point? The default control setting is terrible anyway. I always change it. Who wouldn't change it? I don't know. Then it tells you how to go through the main menu. Like, I can't figure out how to go through the main menu? Seriously? And that's 2 pages. Do we really need 2 pages worth of figuring out how to navigate the main menu? I mean, I know the Link to the Past instruction manual tells you how to start the game up and everything, and that takes 2 pages as well, but there's 44 other pages of cool stuff. This, after navigating the main menu, there's 3 pages left. I mean, come on. And there's 2 of those pages. It's a warranty, and oh, well, I don't even know what this is. It's just random text. I don't get it. Who cares? I mean, what's up with this? Why? I mean, I guess they're trying to save money because no one really reads these. But there's a reason no one reads these anymore. Because they're so stupid. But if you thought that one was bad, oh, we got the worst of the worst. Here in front of me I have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, published by Activision. Yes, Activision. I believe they are the #1 publisher right now. Although, I think Nintendo might be higher than them. I'm not sure. I would have to check. But the instruction manual for this one, oh boy. I believe it is also 9 pages. And, alright. It even has a table of contents. Yes, it has a table of contents for 9 pages. Can you believe it? And guess what page 1 is? The table of contents. That's already a great sign. Alright, let's go on to page 2. You know what? I'm just going to read every single page. Not the whole thing, but just tell you what's on it because it's so short and so useless. I hate all of this. It's so dumb. Alright, page 2. Game controls. Once again, it just shows the default controls. I normally change them slightly, but they don't offer the ability to remap your buttons, which is stupid. You should be able to do that. I want to be able to remap my buttons. Like, I want to be able to put jump to whatever button I want. Why can't I do that? I could do that in old Super Nintendo games. Why can't I do it in these newer games? Aren't we moving forward in technology? Who knows? Anyways, page 3, once again, navigating the main menu. Ugh, it's horrible. Oh, and another thing with this instruction manual, there is absolutely no gameplay screenshots whatsoever. None. There's 2 pictures in this entire instruction manual. One picture is of a controller showing you all the controls, and the other one is of some logos you'll see in the game. You know, heads-up display. Alright, page 3, heads-up display, tells you all kinds of stuff, which it's all pretty much self-explanatory. Only an idiot couldn't figure this stuff out. Oh, that's page 4. Excuse me, I skipped. Yeah, page 3 was main menu. Page 4 is heads-up display. Page 5, health system. And it doesn't even tell you anything about the health system. Anything useful at all. It just tells you stuff that anybody would figure out. It's really useless. Oh, and this is all in black and white, by the way, just in case you weren't wondering. Page 6, Xbox Live. Yes, telling you how to connect to Xbox Live. if you can't figure out how to do that, there's so much help on the internet, even on the Xbox website, so why do you need that? It's stupid. Alright, page 7, notes. May I ask why so many instruction manuals have these notes page? When would I ever want to take notes on a game in the construction manual? I never would. It is so... I can't even... There's no word to describe how stupid the notes page is. And don't think it's just these modern games. They've been doing this since, I believe, N64 times. Like, I can see how it's kinda useful for some games where there's a bunch of cheat codes you might want to write down in that notes section. I mean, I guess that's okay, but this one, it doesn't even have lines. There are no lines to write on. It's literally just a white page with notes on the top. I kid you not. I mean, come on. Alright, page 8. Software license agreement. Yeah, a bunch of legal stuff. And that goes on to page 9. And that's it. That's the whole thing. I mean, could you put a little bit more effort into that? And keep in mind, this is one of the highest selling games of all time in terms of money. This is up there. This game made so much money, and you can't even produce a decent instruction manual? Why are games getting, they say they're getting more advanced and better, but instruction manuals and the gameplay, in my opinion, is just getting worse every year. Now, there are some modern games which are good, but for the most part, games are just getting worse, in my opinion. I love these older games. They have so much more to them than some of these newer ones. They feel like they were made with care, and the developers really had fun making the game, and it wasn't just a job. They knew they were making a great game. But nowadays, I don't even know. When you put that much effort into the instruction manual, it doesn't really bother me that much. I don't really read them anymore, but ever since, these old instruction manuals, they're so cool. They're fun to read. I don't know, it's like a little bit more added to the game. And I don't know, I just wish they were better. I obviously don't expect them to print out 46 pages of full color, because nowadays that would cost a lot of money. But, a little bit more effort than what they're doing now. That's all I ask for. Oh well. Anyways, we're in the Dark Palace right now. It's my least favorite dungeon in the game. 90% of the reason of that is because I always forget one small key. Always. No matter what, I always forget it. And you'll see later on in this video, I do forget the small key, so I just jump cut to where you're supposed to get the key. I hope you don't mind. Saved you a couple minutes. But we got the hammer in this dungeon, and the hammer is pretty useful. Let me get the description from the instruction manual. This is cool. Alright, magic hammer, that's what it's called. Use this hammer to pound stakes and other obstacles into the ground. The magic hammer is also effective against some enemies, but it is best used in conjunction with another weapon, which obviously is the sword. And so yeah, the description pretty much sums it up. You can pound in these stakes on the ground. They're pretty obvious which ones you can pound in. They move. It's pretty obvious. You should be able to tell. And it can be used against some enemies. And it's actually the only weapon that can kill some enemies, because there's these turtle enemies in this dungeon, and you can't kill them with your sword. The only way to kill them is to flip them over, and you can only do that with the hammer. Those are the stakes right there, and those are the turtle enemies. So, use the hammer against them. It's pretty useful, but outside of this dungeon, you won't be using it that much. But you'll definitely be using it, because they do put those stakes in later areas in the game, just to make sure you come to Dungeon 1 first, and not try to skip past all the other dungeons. technically you can go to the 7th dungeon, the 7th dungeon of the Dark World first, if you go get all the items from the other dungeons. But while you're there, you might as well just kill the boss and get it over with. I mean, there's no reason to just leave, except for dungeon number 5. Because I have an interesting experience with that dungeon that not many other people might have had. So I'm going to read some of the other item descriptions, just because I think they're cool. Actually, no, I think there's a description of the sword somewhere. Actually, no, here's something interesting. So earlier in the game, we had to get the pendants, and it says there are 3 pendants. One carved with the crest of courage, another with the crest of power, and the third with the crest of wisdom. It's a cool little description. There's a nice little picture, too. I wish you could see this. Maybe there's pictures online. I don't know. See if you can find some, or maybe I'll look for them and put them in the description. I don't know. But in these dungeons, we're trying to get the crystals, which have the 7 maidens in them. But I'll talk more about that in part number 7. Until then, this is UAA signing out.